Hey guys, how's it going? Preparing here. So it's time for another Diablo 3 video. Oh man, where have these been? Now, what got me started with this is a pretty interesting change. More or less, mostly less because I don't think it really brings anything new to discussion, but it does allow me to go over some points that I think people will be interested to hear now that there's all this talk about the Diablo 3 expansion. So what am I really talking about? Well, a little bit of backstory. There's been this game that's been codenamed Project Titan, which is an MMO, which is by Blizzard, and they really want to hit the market hard with another really solid MMO. Probably as they did with World of Warcraft is what they have in mind, which really started them off as a very, very big business. Now, that's all cool and all. We haven't really heard of anything from Titan, but internally they have released a comment that the Titan game doesn't really have what it takes in terms of the code, in terms of the technology, in terms of the way the game works. So the way I interpret this is, probably didn't have enough modern mechanics. They probably didn't have the dodge action. They didn't have the right graphics code or something like that. The engine, the really fundamental stuff. And for this stuff to change, it doesn't need the artists. It doesn't need all these guys who do the actual game to work on it. So what they have is they've set up this thing where they take all these guys from Titan and put them to work in the Diablo 3 expansion, and they have made this announcement recently. In fact, I believe it was yesterday. So the funny part is that our good friend Jay Wilson, who once moved from Diablo 3 to Project Titan, is now coming back to finish off Diablo 3. It's a disaster. Well, let's be realistic. I don't think it actually matters at all. They've probably learned from the mistakes that they've made, hopefully. But I want to use this event to really discuss the expansion that is going to be for Diablo 3, because it is one that I anticipate. Now, the main concept that I want to bring to you guys is that Blizzard is business. It's just business. It's just about making more money. Obviously, to make more money, you have to make pretty good games, but you have to make games that appeal to more people. And that's what they've been really pushing lately. With Diablo 3, with a lot of the World of Warcraft stuff watering down, becoming casual craft. With this game they announced that's for iPad, they want more people to play their games, they want more people to put money and invest in their company, because Blizzard is business. So I feel that the D3 expansion is going to be absolutely the same in this mentality. This is something that I think is almost non-debatable at this point in time. But what I can draw from it are my own conclusions, my own opinions about what the game is probably going to evolve into, that I think you guys may find interesting, and maybe I'll end up being right, maybe I'll end up being wrong, who knows. But it does come from the fact that Blizzard has to attract a wider audience. Now, obviously, there are a good number of people still playing Diablo 3, which is somewhat surprising, though it's kind of hard to distinguish those that actually play the game from those that actually just sit on the auction house all day, from those that just have 100 bots running and pretend to be players. So it's really hard to gauge the amount of players that actually play the game, but, there's still quite a few of you out there, and, I mean, tough it out, guys. If you like the game, you like the game. That's what it is. But I think, realistically, there was once way more people that were interested in this kind of genre, way more people that actually played Diablo 3 at one point in time, and to bring those people back, and to bring newer people into the game is really their goal. And they're not going to accomplish this by keeping the game as it is and adding another act. It's not going to be the Lord of Destruction expansion. If they make a few new items, like put in runes or something, it's not going to do it. I'm pretty sure they know that. I mean, if they don't know that, holy cow, we're going to see a new game failure coming up real soon. But realistically, I think they've wisened up a little bit, and they realize the potential is to attract a wider audience by changing the game, changing the way it works. To bring people back to a game, you have to really remove the advantage that all those who have already been playing have obtained. Now, this is a very interesting topic with Diablo 3, because this is an advantage that someone can buy into. For instance, there's some guy out there who has the best gear in the world, and he's been playing Diablo 3 for the last 13 months so hardcore every day, all day. Well, I can just put enough money in have better gear than that guy right now, today. You know, I can make that happen. It would be a pretty stupid thing to do, in my opinion, but I could. So that's kind of how it works right now, and I think Blizzard has realized that this kind of model doesn't appeal to a lot of people. What does appeal to a lot of people is stuff like soft game resets. Now, I talked about like ladder resets and stuff like that the game really required for the longest time, and honestly I still think it does, but what really matters is that there is a soft reset. It doesn't have to be a hard ladder reset or anything like that, but it could be just like a different league, perhaps one that doesn't have the real money auction house, perhaps one that just makes all the previous item in the game useless. I mean, that's effectively what happened when LOD came out. You know, people were saving up all these duped rares in Diablo 2, and then the expansion came out. These duped rares were still so good, and then, hey, look at that, they're pretty crappy after all. Now, a few pieces ended up still surviving the, you know, the shift and the new gear and all that stuff, but, you know, not very many. And debatably, a lot of people could get into Lord of Destruction with having absolutely nothing at all in the previous iteration of the game. And I think they're going to go for a similar approach. They may go for a ladder reset, like completely, like no auction house mode. I know they've discussed it in the past. I think that's still possible, and I think that will really bring people back. But I think more likely what they'll do is they're going to bring up a whole wave of items, a whole wave of, you know, playing the game on a fundamentally different level. Like, not like using the gear that you have, get a few more levels, farm some more items. I mean, like, you know, you're going to get better gear than the gear that you have at level 40, you know, that kind of stuff. That's what I think they'll end up doing, so that people can just come back and play the game. I don't know if they'll really address the auction house thing, because, you know, it's cool and all. It was really cool when it came out because it was so revolutionary, it was cutting edge, it'll bring people, you know, to the game because they're interested in how it's going to work. But now that people have seen it work, I don't think they're going to stress the auction house as much as they have in the past. So I think they're going to end up messing with that a little bit, turning down the incentive to use it and turning up the incentive to play the game and to get your own items. So perhaps they're going to, you know, make some more, you know, buy on pickup kind of items, buy on account. I don't know how exactly they're going to do that, because the auction house is really fundamentally destructive to the Diablo genre, in my opinion. But in any case, that's the kind of stuff that you can look forward to. You know, if you think you're going to farm all the way and get all the best gear right before the expansion comes out, you really, probably, more than likely, will be very disappointed. So that's what I have to say. Overall, pretty interesting news. I'm obviously going to play the Diablo 3 expansion regardless of how shitty it may seem or how good it may seem. But Blizzard is business. They're going to make a lot of money regardless, and it's going to be a lot of players. So most people win, but mostly Blizzard. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.